Good afternoon, everybody. It's a fantastic time to be around. It's just beginning the week. Our world around here is on fire, and sometimes sometimes I wonder when you have a year like this. Don't mind my little smile. It's a one of those moments when you're looking around and you say to yourself, this is look very familiar to me. This look something that I've been around before. In fact, I remember one time being in Italy. I don't know if it was 2010 or 9, somewhere around there, and I was in Venice after my trip to Verona. Um, I was in my hotel room, Hotel Monaco in Venice, and just a few blocks away from the Ponte Sospiro Rialto. And I put it on the international channel, and the biggest thing was California's burning. California's burning, and of course, most people they know me, they call me up, say, "Hey, is everything okay?" I say, "Believe it or not, I'm in Italy, so I'm imagining that everything is okay because nobody from my area called me up and say, "Hey, our world is on fire." And I don't take this stuff very lightly. To be honest with you, it's serious. Obviously, it's like most things in our life are serious. Birth, death, um, sickness, they're all very, very serious issues. The smart people will handle it with a little bit of the Napolitan savoir-faire, which is a realistic tone, because otherwise you can't really drive yourself cuckoo. And so, one of the things that come to mind, I had this conversation with a couple of friends, and they called me up and said, "Hey, a few days ago we were watching TV, and California vineyards are on fire. What do you feel about that?" I said, "Well, the good news is in the wine business, they're always 2 3 years ahead of time, because as you know, if you have a vintage 2015, that means that you made it in 2015, now in 2018. So by the time the wine either mature 1 year in barrel, or they mature 1 year in just in a bottle, 2 years in a barrel, 24 months, whatever the process is, that means that that vintage is not on the market, is coming to the market, and so on. In many cases, the young wine is coming, already been at the marketplace, but the special wine, the Reserva and such, those are not yet there in the marketplace. So winery do have a backup. In fact, if it's in many cases, the backup is about 2 3 years deep. Nevertheless, the difficulties and the challenge are many. Um, the least one is the one that people keep on throwing around, like if they know something. Oh, is the grape we have a smoke overtone? Seriously, unless the grapes is being burned or heavily, heavily burned by the smoke, because they will do the same effect. If you have a very heavy, hot smoking coming to the grapes will definitely be damaged. At that point, they would not make any wine. But if the wine is just as engulfed in some smoke, you're not going to see that in the vineyards. You're not going to see in the wine, because once the process occurs, by the length of time happens, most likely, to be honest with you, in 2 years that we had a major fire, I was up in Napa. I've been in Napa also, and the grapes were already down, so there was not a lot of left. But of course, I don't want to minimize the challenge that all winemakers and wine growers have, because they are a serious challenge. Not only the fact that you have great lost between properties and everything else, but also you have something else that is very difficult, because um, the everyday challenge of trying to stay afloat with all the necessities and the personnels and the difficulties of moving, evacuating, and all that stuff. So again, I don't want to minimize, but this is about the reason why we have such a empathy and so much worries about this, is because this is our life. This is our friends. These are people that we have shared many, many a wonderful time together. And so it's very personal. It's less about the wine, to be honest, at this point in our life. It's less about the wine and more about the people. And I want to communicate this very clearly to my friends, because sometimes, there is this understanding that, um, I don't know. I mean, we're all about the mighty dollars. And actually, I can confirm to you, because I had many conversations and wonderful break breads with a lot of great wineries, and even the most confident winery that people um, brag about it or snap about it. They are really down to earth people. They care about not only the vineyards, because there's a long term commitment. I mean, when you plant a vineyards, you're looking on a long term commitment. It takes about 5 to 7 years to get to a place where the vineyards has maturity, has elegance, it's got strength, that you can make a very, very good wine. And you can start planning your wine life or your wine legacy. That's one episode. But the other part of it, the people that you make a commitment to, whether it will be the wine growers, the farmers, the seasonal pickers, and vineyard management. These are families. They are truly committed to. And when you make an investment of that kind of nature, these are, yes, they're heartbreaking, and they really are. And I don't mean it just in terms of, well, you lose your job. It's a livelihood. It's a little more than that. It's a community. It's a great community that are really affected by, because they live within the bubble. You see, unlike many other profession, if you are a restaurateur, or you're a busboy, you're a waiter, you're a hostess, you're bartender, if you lose one restaurant, you can go to the next restaurants. But when you're in a vineyard area, in a wine growing area, this is it. When something affects it, affects pretty much across the board. So a big love and a big hug of affections in this very strange and difficult time that we all live. So, but I wanna liven up a little bit. I wanna bring it up something that makes this world so fascinating, is so beautiful. Um, Many times I sit with some of the vendors and people that over the year we have we met the first time around, and everybody's got the little cheat sheet. They're gonna do a little song and dance. In every business is the same. They have the 10, 15 things they want to communicate, the sell pitch. You know how that goes. You know the routine. You know the role. Everybody's happy. And with me over the years, I always been kind of like, hey, you know, how are you? How you doing? Is your life going the right direction? How's your love life? And people look at me like, what? What are you talking about? Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, take the wine out, put them on a counter. You know, let me take a look. For something really fascinating, I'll open it up. And if you don't, then we go from there. Why is that? Because on the end of every single relationship, there's got to be more to it than it just what you see. People don't just walk off the street, they walk in your place and they are anonymous. They're not. They're human beings, they're people. They have stories. And you know, a lot of times it's fascinating to me to kind of probe people on the personal level to find out, hey, what's your background? Uh, how did you came to want to sell wine? It's not an easy job. Believe me, it's taking a bag and a bunch of bottle of wine around the band, you know, around the cities and knocking on people's door. It's not an easy job. I've been fortunate enough to be pretty much in every aspect of it. You start as a child of farmers, so I know the difficulty of growing things, and then I was a winemaking with my family. So I understand the sensibility and the fragility of making wine. And then, you know, being a restaurateur all my life, that the communications and the understanding, the anticipation for our guests to make sure that they have a fantastic time. So when you pick up a bottle of wine, you try, it's like a chess game. You try to think all the moves that you can make in order to make sure that you have the right move, the customers get the right bottle, that is in line with the kind of price in their minds, so even though you don't know what the price is. But you try to assess a little bit, hey, what's this event about? Their friends, their family, their business people, they want to impress one another. They want to kind of just have a glass of wine and have a good time. What are they? What is all these things? So we are, we are a little bit of technicians, a little psychiatrists. And so when a vendor comes in, there is the role is reversed, right? So I'm the customers. I'm the guy they are trying to sell the wine to. And I'm fascinating to know about these people, because I know that my customers are fascinating about some aspect of my life and my, what makes me kick, what makes me click or kick, whatever that is, depends on the day. And I am the same, because once you see people coming into your store many times, you start relationships, and it's a good, a wonderful thing, because it's a family behind these ladies or gentlemen who comes in. There's also a story. There is a hope and aspiration. So all those things I've said, what fascinates more than everything else, we are connected. Our threads is the bottle. So this is an opportunity for us to talk about the essence of a capitalism. I heard many, many people talking about it, and I'm from a country where the concept is always been kind of muffled, kind of twisted, only because people don't want to be called something like, oh my God, you only think about the money. It isn't. It's about something bigger, something larger. It's about freedom. Think about, for a moment, a young boy come from a little village of Italy, like me. I came in America with my mom, paid the ticket at the time. I think it was like $600-700, which was an enormous amount of money. Now 700,000 lira, which is at the time was an enormous amount of money, especially for a family that we didn't have cash. We have all the zucchini, all the potatoes that you want. We had plenty wine, but we didn't have the cash. Okay, so let's be clear. We were poor in terms of greens, not the string beans, but the other greens, the lira, because at the time it was lira, it wasn't euro. And then she managed to put about a couple $100 in my pocket, a couple 100,000 lira, which is about 100, at the time was about $100 or something, 150, which it was a lot of money for those times. So I came in America. I landed in upstate New York, in Albany, New York, out of all places, because I was going to visit my friends, my family, in Schenectady, New York, which, by the way, if you had to show me on the map, I would probably say, I don't know. I'm not going to take that plane at all. I'm sorry. When I got there, I looked really good. I had this beautiful Italian velour suit, beautiful chestnuts, reddish color. I looked really good, and I had a beautiful pair of Italian shoes, and I almost hit it. When I came down to the staircase on the airplane, it was all ice, and I almost fly off the plane. I said, "Oh, that would be an amazing entrance to do." Welcome to America. He just hit the ice bucket. So now, fast forward. I'm not gonna wrap you into all my adventure or the other stuff, but when I start my culinary adventure in America, think about this for a second. I'm just going to give it to you. I go in the kitchen and I look around a menu. I decide that I want to make an improvement to that menu. At the moment I do that, at the very moment I do that, and I start select or choose certain items. So I went to look for rapini or broccoli wrap. Nobody knew what it was. They don't even know what it was. I actually was looking for a certain type of wallboard or some unique items, and I had to search it. I couldn't find it. I finally came to a point where I got some good sources. So all of a sudden, I created a freeway, or at least a pathway, for certain producer to become part of the restaurateur family. Because once people came and they start talking about my menu, a lot of the restaurateurs want to know what the hell I was doing. And so when they ask me, hey, so what is the dishes doing, this rapini and this arugulas and things? What I say, yeah, it's a beautiful greens we use. It's got a nice little pepperiness. It comes from the mustard green family. They're really delicious. And people are really talking about it. So now, they go and start an order. You see how all of a sudden we're affecting the market. And on top of that, now you have people boxing, creating the box, the labels, the transportation. That is the essence. So in my small way of looking at life, and I always say, is the story about wine? It's really about the wine? Or is about all the surrounds, creates around wine? I think that is true. So on one end, you go to a restaurant, the waiter comes over, asks you, would you like a bottle of wine tonight, a white or red? And you say, oh yeah, we'll make, what suggestion you making? The person says, well, I have this beautiful Chianti from Tuscany. Is around the Berardenga, Castello Berardenga, which is the high elevation. It's very nice. I say, oh, okay, bring a bottle. So now the gentleman and the lady, enjoying the first splash of this wine, they really like it, right? And now they're going to talk about their friends when they go home. All of a sudden, this is becoming a known wine. Now, that is the reason why I tell to everybody in the business, and also you, the customers, please take a little time, because there is so much to it than it just a label, a bottle, a cute little geographic spot on the map. There is a whole world. When you go back into the bottle, remember the thing with the message in the bottle? Yes, there is a message in every bottle. And the message is a human call, someone passion, someone dream, somebody hard labor, somebody out there, a family, pushing the cart up on the hill, or tilling underneath vines, or just tending the vines. And long be known, it's going to be on the table in Australia, in Sydney, it's going to be in New York, it's going to be in Denver, Colorado, or even little town in Wichita. You see how the spider web, it begins, and it's beautiful. It becomes interconnections, where I believe profoundly that the greatest ambassador around the world, it is food and wine. Because around the table, human for millennia, we have built these traditions of convivium to live together. And is a traditions that allows introspective as well as outreach. So when you're in an environment that you are known, a bottle of wine can break it, can make it a welcoming. A piece of bread, a piece of cheese, it can make a welcoming. So take great full advantage of this particular venue, because the end result is you want to get to know a little more about people. One time, when I created Onotria the first time around, I had this incredible idea that almost everybody thought I was a crazy man. In fact, I had nothing but people kind of get in my way. So they're telling me, oh my God, what about it? People like the spaghetti meatball. Oh, people like veal parmesan. People like ossobuco. I said, people like a lot of things, okay? When I drive, I see restaurants, they should be actually closed, but they're open. And not only they open, they build more of them because people go eat. So let's cut the nonsense. People like to eat. Sometimes they do for necessity, sometimes for pleasure, sometimes for the business. People like to eat. They like to go out to eat. They like to enjoy. They like having a reservation someplace, or just drive through somewhere and grab a taco or grab a burger. The reality is we eat all the time. So for me, it's really a question of what is that I want to connect with, what kind of story I want to tell. So I told my story, Onotria, Land of Vines. Onoche is a wine country cuisine. What does that mean? I want to create the dishes that pair well with wine because I believe that even though the food in itself is fantastic and the wine by myself is really wonderful, but just like people coming together, there is this harmony that is unique. And what it does, it pauses the everyday concern and worries. It stops people that become just a grinding machine when they come to the table. I remember when I had my restaurants, Amici Trattoria, 45 minutes. People just eat and gone. Full meal, appetizer, main course, dessert, salads. That's it, gone. How do you do it? You got to be a grinder. You got to be a machine. You got to disposal, human disposal. And then on top of that, I go outside and they're all gone. It's like, whoa, 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 what am I doing? I feel like I just went through a tornado and nobody's out here. Where'd they go? Well, they went home, they went to the theater, they went to the movie. So I want to create a different type environment. And that environment was, I wanted people to come here for what we do. But also, more important, I wanted people to come here and stop. Take your shoes off. Not literally, because otherwise, got a lot of gorgonzola going on. No, but take your shoes off. In other words, relax. And what I noticed, I changed something that is unacceptable in my business. I changed the reservation from 45 minutes to an hour to about 3 hours. People, my own ex-wife told me, are you crazy? We're going to lose a lot of money. I said, no, we don't. We don't. We're going to get better clients. We're going to better customers. They will appreciate more because I know what happened. In the first 20 minutes or so, people just chit-chat, kind of blah, blah each other. They kind of like, dogs in a park, they smelling and they figure out who's what and what they're doing. And then, they order the things they're comfortable with, the martinis and the scotch and water. And then maybe get a glass of wine or something. But sooner or later, they slow down. They start looking at each other. They start smiling. They start relaxing. And when that happens, when the food they start putting in their mouth and they start seeing it, are compelling. It's a compelling food. In other words, it's not just thrown in a plate, it's like a pile, but there's story to it. So how do we get there? That's very simple. I created a menu that it was breaking down in 5 different sections. It were 5 different mini menus that were connected to the type of wines, or better yet, the body of wines, because that's the commonality that all wine have. To say dry white wine, sparkling, and still, or aromatic full body white wines. And then we move on to a light body, fresh acidity red wine. And then we go to a medium. So every time there was a bracket, we create a menu from appetizer to a cheese. So that basically people, they went to a voyage and they slow down. They start talking to each other. Why that is important? It's important because to me, as a master chef and someone who loves human relationship, is that you have an environment where you can be yourself. You can find the time and the space where you can be yourself with your guests, with your friends, with your family, and turn the table into your living room, your dining room, a place where you can communicate calmly because now you're having a good time. Now you choose a better bottle of wine because you're really enjoying it. You're making a better selections because your guests are enjoying it. They're relaxing. What it means is they're paying attention. In other words, they appreciate the effort that you do. Why I am so enamored with that? Because that's how they treat me when I go to a winery. That's how they treat me when I travel around the world. So winemakers are not just trying to sell me a wine. They try to connect on a human level to say, hey, look, I know. You're going to say yeah, nay about my wine. But before we get there, why don't we just slow down, face each other, try to see where's our world. somewhere where they meet, where they hanging out together, which passion we have that we share, which things that really pissed us off. You know what I mean? And the beauty of it all, in the context of my traveling and the wine, nothing ever was off the table because we were not hypersensitive to the issues, whether it was politics, it was sex, it was religion, all the don't do this, don't do that, don't do the other thing. We all done all of it. In fact, as I can tell you, like the slogan says, in vino veritas, in wine there is the truth. Yes, you do tell the truth because you know you with friends. They know you. They know that if you say something that they don't agree with, but you don't say it to insult them. You don't say it because you think they're stupid or ignorant or they're not intelligent enough. No, you just say it because you believe in it. And if they are really your friend and if they're really someone they care about you, then they will say, hey, explain. I'm intrigued. I want to know. I want to understand that, because I respect you. So I really want to get your point of view. And this is important for so many things because we live in a world where if I don't agree with the wine you like, somehow I don't like you. Not at all. I just don't like that wine. I mean, come on. Happens, Maybe my acidity level, my brightness level, it's not what I'm at. Or maybe that day I'm not in the mood to drink that wine. But it's no reflection whatsoever to our relationship or even to the fact that don't know about wine. It's irrelevant to me. It's one item, one fact, one story. That's it. When I went to Ilisai, which is in Verona, one of the greatest winemaker that I absolutely love, and not because the wine is, without any doubt, one of the best wine in the world, without any doubt. Dal Forno Amarone. But it's because Romano is an incredible human being. Regardless whether his wine is the best or one of the best or the third best, it don't matter. When you meet the man, you understand the level of intelligence, of acumen related to not only winemaking and vineyards and wine growing and all the things that surround the world of wine, but it's just as a man, as a profound intelligence. Whether we're talking about the humidity upstairs, how he created the neutral vent for drying the grapes, how he created this amazing winery because he wanted to have the best output and really be focusing on not wasting anything, using just the regular stone, and how he did it, the creations of this amazing zero oxygen during fermentation. This is all technical stuff that we can waste a lot of time talking about it, but it's not. What is really exciting to me, this man that makes this amazing wine that people in the wine world admire, it's way more than the wine he makes. Way more. He's an amazing human being. And that is the story. The real story is that when you use that bottle of wine to meet the person and the people behind it, you realize that those vineyards are populated with some really creative, hardworking, passionate human beings. It makes the wine so much special. It makes the wine so much more adventurous because they tell you in a very interesting and exciting, seductive way the life, what's in the habitat, what's in the microclimate of that environment on a human level, what it takes, the hard work, the love, the laugh. And then you open a bottle of wine and gin is off the bottles and off we go on the race, and then it becomes pretty much, oh my God, this the nose is really amazing. I can pick up all this scent of chocolate and licorice and this beautiful powerful heat come out from the black peppers and the chocolate. It reminds me so much of the Honduran chocolate. And you go on and on and on because now you took your shoes off. You relax. You don't wonder if the people with you, they're going to say, what is he talking about? Or if they do, it's even funnier. Because now, because you know what I'm talking about. Oh no, I didn't smell that. Oh great. Oh, so the true story and passion about wine, it's the conditions that we create among ourselves and our friends. It makes everything about wine more and more exciting. So my recommendation to all my friends in the wine business is don't lose the freshness, don't lose the naivete, don't lose the love, don't lose the passion. It's very hard in conditions like ours, like this year, with COVID and all the other things that are going on. It's easy. You feel like you beat up. You feel like you're not appreciated. You feel like you're pushing a cart with one wheel up on the hill and it's not going anywhere. It does. It does go somewhere. It always do. It's always do. We have already been through many difficulties in our lives. We have been through a lot of things in our life. And the one things that always kept us with a big smile in our face and a wonderful, upbeat positivity is that the next glass, just like tomorrow, it's a better one. The next bottle is going to have the answer that we're looking for. Even though maybe not, but we have to open it because we want to know what's out there. We want to know what's in the bottle. What's the story? What's that vintage all about? I am fully engaged and excited. I can't wait for what's coming next. And I hope in my small ways to share with you some of those life lessons. They are right in front of our eyes. Is the best always yet to come? Because hope and positivity is the quintessential element that we had into everything we do. As a boy growing up, if you just look on the reality on the ground, it looked pretty glim. You know, when you go visit your cousin in Naples, they have the sea, they got the city, and you just got the donkey, you got the chicken, you got the duck, you got the rabbit. Not a good exchange at the time, you know, when you're 10, 14 years old. They go to the beach, you go cutting grass. They go to the city and get a gelato, and you don't have a gelato. So, but you know, I always thought, yeah, but someday I'm going to make a better gelato anyway, so I'm not worried about that. And I was right. So please, focus on what's in front of you and focus on the fact that the next bottle will have the answer. And if it don't, there's always another bottle. So tomorrow is always a better day. I always give a big love to all the people. They actually understand that life is a gift. And we should treat this one. Life is a gift. And we should always treat it as a gift. Don't take it for granted. Every day around the tables with a glass of wine, friends, a laugh. Even sometimes the aggravation, that's a good thing. It's get it out, the toxin. Just let it out. Don't be embarrassed. Just be who you are. And most